Hello and welcome to another episode of Prickly Pear Cooks. Now, I am technically not cooking today. First of all, my name is Fran, another Francesca Fenech within the company, and I am half English and half Maltese. So I was trying to think of something something culinary, either food or drink, that combined my two nationalities together. And the one thing I could think of, there's quite a few, but the one thing that I could really think of that kept jumping out at me was tea. Now I know tea is not specifically historically British, but you can't deny that a good cup of tea is definitely something that's become quite part of that British kind of stereotype. I love a cup of tea. There's going to be no judgment in this video, but I am going to show you how I think tea should be made. So just want to put that out there as a disclaimer. People may want to make it in a different way. You are wrong. You are different. You may even drink herbal tea as opposed to normal tea. Again, I don't judge you. But, jokes aside, I'm just going to be showing you the way that I think tea should be made from my perspective. And I'm going to show you the Maltese way as well. And I'll explain a little bit about that once we get started. So let's jump in. So nice and simple to begin with, we start with this wondrous thing that is called a kettle. Now, there are lots of different versions of kettles. You can get stovetop kettles or electric ones like this. The reason I'm pointing out that I think you should use a kettle is because some people like to fill a mug up of water and put it in the microwave. That is absolutely fine. Again, no judgment. By switching it on. And we're just gonna wait for it to boil. So while we're waiting for the kettle to boil, I'm gonna show you the teapot. Now, I unfortunately don't have a set of a teapot and a teacup and saucer that match, so please don't judge me too hardly. And what you're going to do is you're gonna place a tea bag inside the teapot. Now, I've decided to use Yorkshire tea because it's one of my favourite teas, and because I live in London and the water can be quite hard, they have this special brew that is for hard water, which is amazing. You're going to get your tea bag. Now it depends how many people who are drinking the tea. You might want to put 2 in if there's 2, just to kind of get the strength up, but for one person I think 1 is always enough. So the kettle is now boiled and we're going to pour it in. Now I'm not going to be drinking too much tea today, I've decided, but I'm going to fill it up just over halfway. We can put that one to one side. And we're just going to let that brew for a little bit. Now, you can give it a stir if you like. Maybe I usually stir it just before I serve it. So I'm going to put the lid on so it keeps nice and warm. And then I'm going to look at what I'm going to be serving my tea in. So while your tea is brewing in the teapot, you can decide what receptacle you would like to drink your tea out of today. You can either go for a fancy mug. This one's a bit of a novelty mug, quite a big mug, or a standard sized mug if that's what you're feeling, or a cup and saucer if you're feeling very fancy. Now we're going to go with a cup and saucer today because I feel like we should be doing things properly. And yeah, like I said, this isn't matching my teapot, which is disappointing to me, but I will rectify that at some point in my life. Now that you have chosen what you'd like to drink, I reckon your tea will probably be properly brewed now. So I'm going to pour it into the teacup. If you want to have a little swirl or mix with your spoon, you can, but I reckon everything will be brewed properly now. So you're just going to pour that, oh, what a lovely colour, look at that, into your teacup. And there we go. Now, the next bit, very important, milk. So some people like to drink tea black, that's fine. Some people like sugar. Personally for me, I like it with milk but no sugar. And if I'm going to be drinking it out of a teacup and saucer and I've used a lovely teapot, I'm going to want to use a little milk jug as well. So I have this cute little milk jug that my mum got me actually. And I've just poured the milk in there and I'm going to add it in afterwards. And I stress the afterwards because some people like to put the milk in before. Now, some people say that that is the way that the Queen does it, and I think there are exceptions to the rule. If you were using a teapot, feel free to put the milk in first and then the tea. The issue for me is when the tea mixes with the tea bag. So if you have a mug, for example, and you're not making a big pot of tea, you just want 1 cup of tea, and you put the tea bag in, pour the water in, and pour the milk in, not going to work. You've got to take that tea bag out before you add the milk. So now comes the Maltese way of making tea. As you can see, I have a glass in front of me, and the Maltese like to drink their tea from glasses. They call it tefetazza, which literally translates to tea in a glass. And they make it very much like the British do when they're just making a mug of tea, like I just explained, but they put it in a glass. So in goes the tea bag, out comes the kettle, and there we go. Now what they usually like to use in terms of milk is either condensed milk or evaporated milk, powdered milk. That's their kind of way, which is lovely. It does taste good. But I've only got normal milk with me here, so I'm just going to give that a little stir. Now the thing with Maltese tefetazza is they don't take out the tea bag very often. So you add in that milk and you all let it just be. And it's a little party in a glass. There we go. That is Maltese tefetazza. So to conclude, that is how the British versus the Maltese make their tea. Now, jokes aside, like I said, however you choose to make and drink your tea is completely up to you. We should celebrate each other's differences. So whether it's in a mug or a cup and saucer or a glass, whether it's herbal tea or normal tea, milk or no milk, sugar or no sugar, doesn't matter, just as long as you're drinking tea. So I will bid you farewell with my little tea, and just make sure that if you are ever using a cup and saucer, that little finger is raised as you drink it. Cheers.